Siberian tiger versus Utahraptor. Who would win in a fight between these hypercarnivores? Well, watch to the end to find out, since this is going to be a very interesting video. First up, we have the Siberian tiger. This beast mainly inhabits the mountainous terrain of eastern Russia in birch and taiga forests. They are hypercarnivores, with wild boar and deer making up majority of their diet. Siberian tigers are often regarded as the largest big cat, but currently they are not the heaviest. Their weight over the recent years has decreased dramatically because of human involvement. A typical contemporary male Siberian tiger in the wild grows around 390 pounds and 9.5 feet long from head to tail. However, the historical average size for a wild male Siberian tiger was around 475 pounds. When it comes to weapons, Siberian tigers have strong forelimbs that allow them to have a powerful grip force when hunting prey. They have large paws equipped with 2-inch razor-sharp claws, which are meant to grasp onto and rip through their prey's skin. The Siberian tiger has the largest skull out of any living tiger, which measures between 13 to 15 inches in length. Having such a large skull allows this beast to have a powerful bite force of around 1000 psi. Its strong bite allows the tiger to take down its prey via the suffocation method of sinking its large 3-inch teeth into its victim's throat. There are reports of Siberian tigers hunting Ussuri brown bears, but there's context behind those statistics. Amur tigers usually take down juvenile and female bears by ambush rather than a head-on fight. They also take advantage of when the bear is in hibernation, making for an easier kill. When it comes to defense, the Siberian tiger has a thick coat of fur and a strong, stocky body. Its dense, pale orange fur with a white stomach allows it to keep warm and blend into its cold environment. Mature Amur tigers can have small manes around their upper neck and head area, which can further provide protection and help keep them warm. So, overall, the Siberian tiger would have a decent defense for its size. When it comes to speed, tigers are said to run up to 40 miles per hour in short bursts. They are quite nimble and agile, able to make sharp turns, leap onto their prey, and jump pretty far. However, their stamina is not the best because they're built for explosive movements and short burst attacks. When it comes to fighting knowledge, the Siberian tiger actively hunts wild boar, deer, and other medium to large sized game. They do encounter and face off against brown bears, wolves, and other members of their own species in their environment. However, they do not encounter any creatures that resemble the Utahraptor. But, overall, the Siberian tiger would have a decent amount of fighting knowledge and experience. Alright, let's move on to the Utahraptor. This beast lived during the Early Cretaceous in the floodplains and open forests of North America. It was the apex predator of its environment, hunting medium to large-sized herbivores like Iguanodons. A typical Utahraptor is estimated to weigh between 700 and 1100 pounds, 15 to 23 feet long, and was around 6 feet tall. The Utahraptor would have a weight, length, and height advantage when the tiger is on all fours, but if the tiger stands upright, it would have the height advantage. When it comes to weapons, Utahraptors have massive sickle-shaped claws that could grow up to 10 inches in length. Studies show that their claws were likely used to grasp and hold onto their prey, rather than actively using them to slash. Their arms are also not particularly long, which further provides evidence that they did not use them to lacerate their victims unless in range. With the Utahraptor using its claws like a grappling hook, it would allow it to kick using its powerful legs to rip into its prey's body when latched onto it. The skull of the Utahraptor, which could grow between 2 to 3 feet in length, is considerably larger and more robust than the tiger's. The skull was filled with sharp, blade-like teeth, which were used to rip through the skin of its prey. Along with the Utahraptor's large skull, it's believed to have an impressive bite force. Although I could not find any information on the exact bite strength, if we use its smaller relative, the Deinonychus, as a reference, which is said to have a bite force greater than a jaguar, I think it's safe to assume that the Utahraptor would have a more powerful bite than the Siberian tiger. When it comes to defense, The Utahraptor had scales and feathers covering its body. The feathers were likely used to keep it cool in its semi-arid environment and attract mates. The Utahraptor also had semi-hollow bones compared to the tiger's solid mammal bones. This would allow the Utahraptor to have a lighter structure, making it able to maneuver around easier. However, since the Utahraptor would likely have a considerable weight advantage against the tiger, I think it's safe to assume that it would have a better defense, but not by a significant margin. When it comes to speed, the Utahraptor had strong, robust legs and a powerful body structure, which meant that it was not very fast. Scientists estimate that it could likely reach a top speed of around 25 miles per hour in short bursts, so it was likely slower than the Siberian tiger. Also, since it would have an overall size advantage, it likely would be less agile and nimble. When concerning the aspect of stamina, it's very hard to tell based on the lack of remains, but my speculation is that it would be on par with the tiger in terms of endurance. When it comes to fighting knowledge, the Utahraptor hunted larger prey than the Siberian tiger like Iguanodons. It also likely fought with other members of its own species for mating rights and territorial disputes. However, it did not encounter any creatures similar to a tiger, but overall, it would have a decent amount of fighting knowledge and experience, with it likely being more than the Siberian tiger. Alright, we have our stats. So, who would win in a fight between a Siberian tiger and a Utahraptor? Let's say this battle takes place on an open field. I would say the Utahraptor would win 70% of the time. Along with the Utahraptor having an overall size advantage, it had a much larger skull filled with sharp teeth that would not only give it a bite reach advantage, but also a stronger bite. Since the tiger likes to leap onto and grapple with its opponent, it would be in range to get lacerated by the huge claws of the Utahraptor. The Siberian tiger's way of killing its victims via the suffocation method would also be another downfall, since it would expose its body to get bit and slashed by the Utahraptor. Overall, the tiger does not have the size, technique, or weaponry to effectively kill the largest dromaeosauridae majority of the time.